Welcome to the Jackman Show. Now, this has been a long time coming for myself, so just want to say first and foremost, whoever's listening, whoever's watching. Sorry, Steve, I've had a few already, but whoever's watching, I really appreciate all the love, all the questions about actually when am I going to do this show or what is the show going to be about, which has taken me aback a bit because I'm just a humble guy. Like from the very beginning, I've always said this. I'm just a humble guy. Like I've always kind of put others first. I don't obviously think I'm better than anybody else. And there's too many people out in this world who do think they are. So that's me first and foremost. But I've always wanted to kind of do my own thing. So this can be my own space. So whoever wants to join me on the journey, you're welcome. And if you don't, then I appreciate that too. But yeah, this is just where real talk meets real life. And yeah, there's a lot of kind of stories that I could tell, which I will obviously share along the way. There's going to be guests that have also kind of one tell you about themselves, but also sometimes just to kind of put a bit of clarity in terms of what this crazy life obviously throws at you. So that is just what we're going to do here. Yeah. So once again, I'm new to all this. You know, when people say like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. I'm right about now. I'm not doing none of that. This is almost like the pilot episode. This is almost like laying the foundation to kind of let you know who I am and what I'm about and what I want to kind of bring to the world, basically. So yeah, hi. Um, my son always was banging on about having a YouTube channel. You know how kids are these days. They're like, Dad, I want to do YouTube. Dad, I want to play games. Dad, I want to make money from playing games. No, son, that's fine. But also you need to kind of have something else, kind of a foundation. That can't be your main goal. And I'm pretty sure that that is a standard thing that most kind of parents would say to their kind of child. But your dream can be achieved if that's what you want to do. But you need to kind of make sure that you are going to school, doing the stuff that you need to do to kind of make sure that you can build a future. Because take me as an example. I'm going to work every day, 9 to 5. Like retail is obviously where I'm at, and that's what I've been doing for 20 years now. But at the same time, I've always kind of wanted to kind of have my own space, and I've always kind of wanted to kind of like I already talk for a living at work anyway. So if I can talk on a mic, why wouldn't I want to do that? So that's something I always wanted to do. So I've just been in a fortunate position where I've been on one of the biggest shows in the UK, and it's like, you know what, why not do it? Why not? So I'm here now, and long may it continue, and hopefully that it can carry on and snowball from there. But I just want to already I'm rambling, so I'm rambling already, so I could already feel it. But like it just kind of brings me on to the kind of the first point in terms of like humble beginnings. That I've come from. I've come from nothing. I didn't come from a wealthy background or wealthy family. My father was never there. Shout out to Mumsy. Mumsy raised 3 beautiful girls, my sisters, and obviously her number one son, obviously. She is the queen. She taught me everything in terms of obviously, empathy for people, having a big heart, but not only that as well. I've never seen, growing up in London, it's so multicultural. I just love everyone. So it sometimes really frustrates me when there is a divide in terms of whether that be a racial divide or a religious divide, because I've just got that warmth in me where I just want to kind of be a part of everyone, and I want everyone to be a part of me, kind of thing. Pause. That sounds mad, but I just want everyone to kind of get on. So that's where obviously I have that kind of instilled in me to kind of make sure that I be the best father to my boys, because my dad not being there, I don't get why he wouldn't want to be a part of our lives. But at the same time, like I always kind of wanted to make sure that my kids could see what love really means. Like, and that's not just being there. That's like trying to kind of make sure that they understand. Like, listen, people say when's the right age to kind of stop kissing your son or kissing your daughter or whatever, or hugging. Listen, I will hug listen, I'll tell my eldest son's 20. I will text him now and say, I love you, son. Like, I don't care, because I want him to understand that dad's got that's in here that can never die. So once again, going back to my dad, I don't understand why he could just bounce and leave mum to do all the duties. Where anyway, the one thing that he taught me, is to not be like him. So you know what? Shout out to you if you're watching. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. You don't realize, but you taught me a good lesson. You taught me a good lesson, man. You taught me a good lesson. Yeah. So growing up in London, I then moved to Nottingham, where obviously I've created a new life, and it's not because I couldn't handle London. I didn't want to stay in London. London was all I knew, but at the same time, I knew there was a bigger world out there, and I just kind of wanted to kind of explore it. So at the time, obviously, I came to visit my brother. I had a football tournament, so never turned back really. I just thought to myself, like, this is weird because this is now my home. I've now been living in Nottingham, or say Derby, whatever, East Midlands, for as longer than I actually lived in London, which is weird because I moved to Nottingham when I was 19. So yeah, crazy, crazy, crazy time. But at the same time, now I'll probably dive more into that as things progress and stuff, because there's a lot of stuff that's happened in my life where it's obviously shaped me to be the man that I am. But at the same time, I've always known right from wrong. And I'm not saying that I haven't made mistakes in my life, but I've always known right from wrong. And that's probably been instilled in me from my mum, in terms of like, just make sure you do the right thing. Even though she'll probably tell you a few stories when I didn't do the right thing. So yeah, like I said, two amazing boys, amazing boys. I love them with all my heart. And obviously my wife, who's changed who I am as a person. And if it wasn't for her, I've grown a lot since meeting her. But at the same time, having that core family values, which I've always had, is probably been something that has actually cemented, obviously, me and her, but what I'm trying to achieve in my life in terms of having a family and building for my family and wanting the best for my family. And yeah, it's been a world. Sorry, just blame this. But yeah, it's been a whirlwind in a sense. I've always worked hard. I've always kind of wanted to kind of do the best, show the best. I always say this, my terminology: if I was a bin man, I'll be the best bin man. I'll win an awards. Yeah. So I just try and be the best that I can do every single day. So I've always kind of trying to showcase to my boys and showcase to the people around me that I work hard. So the job that I'm a store manager, but I would never ask my staff to do a job that I wouldn't do. So I remember going to one company that I worked for one time. Shout out to my game crew, 569. I remember the first day that I was a manager in that store, and I remember I put on the marigolds and I started cleaning the toilets, because I wanted to kind of show them that if I'm doing it, anyone can do it, right? So that's always been my mantra: lead by example, work hard, graft. People respect you for that as well. And then it obviously leads me on to obviously my traitors journey as well, whereas all I wanted to do was go on that, because I wanted to kind of first and foremost win the money. I thought to myself, I could win this. This is easy. It's light work. Little did I know that when you go through those doors, it's nothing. It's every plan that you had goes out the window. Yeah, you do not control no destiny. I don't care if you're a traitor or not. You don't control nothing. So that is a tough game. But you know what? I appreciate all the stuff that has happened from that show, the opportunities, the people that I've met, the cast that I've met, the people behind the scenes, and even just little things like I played in the charity match the other day. Don't get me wrong, my back right now is mashed up. Yeah, mashed up. Like the reason. Listen, I'm in my son's room, right? The studio's not ready. It's coming soon. Shout out to B&Q because they sorted something out. So you'll see, it's coming soon, right? Honestly, I'm having to sit here because my back is in bits. Yeah, so I'm in my son's little gaming chair, and I'm in his room because it's more comfortable, right? So yeah, I digress. But I was at a charity match, played in that. David Bentley, like Leroy Lita. I'm playing with ballers that I've been watching on TV. Like, it's crazy. So there's so much little opportunities that has happened to me, which would never have happened to just the humble guy who works in I don't know if I'm unplugging it, but the mobile phone shop. Do you see what I mean? So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But oh, sorry, but that leads me on to it's been hard in a sense as well, because as much as there's been all those kind of opportunities, especially obviously in the mental health awareness week, which obviously ends tomorrow, but it has been a struggle at some points as well, because you are constantly kind of looking at other people's, I say looking at other people's, right? So like I said, I was just gonna be real and real as it is, because that's all I can be, right? Being in a space where you was never before, sometimes you feel like there's an expectation from you to do something else. Don't get me wrong, having my own podcast or just chatting rubbish on a screen is something that I've always wanted to do. I just do this anyway. Like, if you go through my camera reel, like, I'm just chatting rubbish anyway. That's what I do. Like, if you speak to any of the people that I work with, they will even say to you, there's two different Leons, like, because the Leon that you saw on the traitors, like, I'm not. Listen, editing's editing, and I just appreciate my time on the show and being on the show, right? But at the same time, people out who see me on a daily basis, they know that I'm not a quiet guy. And so many people have come to me and said, you know what, Leon, you come across as a nice, quiet, like, humble guy. Listen, that bit I could take, the humble bit, 'cause I am a humble guy, but I'm not quiet. Like, I talk all the time. It's one of the first things my mum said to me is like, why you, like, about 3 episodes in, she said, why are you so quiet? I was like, listen, mum, I can't control. It's not the Jackman show. Yeah, I can't control it. So hence why I've got my own show. I could talk no one can mute me. Yeah, I mute myself, right? But it's like the mental health side of it is mad, because don't get me wrong, the welfare team, in terms of obviously what Studio Lambert do, is amazing. They're always checking in, they're always making sure. Oh, hold on, got a call from the wife. I can't answer it. I don't want to get in trouble, guys. I don't want to get in trouble. Hey, babes, you okay? Yeah, it's fine. I just wanted to answer anyway, make sure he's all right. Oh, why? What happened? Why? What did you do wrong? Wife, happy life. There's no way that I'm getting in trouble for not answering my phone. She probably think I'm doing something wrong or something, or she could have needed me to do something. You know, once again, those who know. Yeah. So yeah, what was I saying? What was I saying now? Yeah, mental health. Yeah. So best way to kind of put it, yeah, is that, like I said, you go on this massive show, and then people are expecting you to do something from the show, or they are judging you against the other people on the show who might be doing more than you are. Then you start to kind of get into that hole, and like, you're looking at what other people are doing and thinking, well, why are they getting more than I am and stuff? And here is my wife now, actually. So it's just, I'm not live. Just I don't want to be in the okay. So I'm just pausing then, because I don't know where I was at, but we'll go again. Mental health. So I'm just going to just recap what I just said, yeah, because where you go into one of the biggest shows in the UK, like 10 million people watching this show, right? So then, first and foremost, what then happens, that people are then judging you. I now got a newfound respect when I watch TV shows, or any show for that matter, film, whatever, football, yeah, because I love my football. I can't just judge someone on the actions that they make, or I can't just assume that this happened. Yeah. So I watch it differently. But then I realize how people get so kind of consumed with what they watched, or the narrative that is actually produced on the TV kind of thing. So they'll like, okay, this person is that person is this. But from the show itself, there was a few of the castmates who got quite a lot of like, not even death threats, but well, I think one of them did get a death threat. I think Jake got a death threat. But at the same time, in terms of just like, like that aggression, that hate, which is crazy, which then can actually spiral and control and go into your mind and go into your life, and then start to lead you to having mental health issues. But at the same time, it's more a case of, for me, it was like I said, people are expecting me to do stuff based on the show, right? Or because I've been in the show. So someone could walk into my workplace and say, what are you still doing in here? Like I'm supposed to be famous. I'm not famous. I didn't go on the show to be famous. Don't get me wrong. I've always felt like, and people have always said to me, like, there's a calling for you. You shouldn't be here. Like, I'm probably the most outgoing person in my store, and every shop that I've gone into or worked in, I'm always the guy. Um, I could walk into a room of 30 people and I'm the first to talk. I'm the only one to talk. I'm the one who brings everyone together. Any person in any walk of life, I will talk to them. 'Cause I'm just that kind of person. That's how I'm built. So that's why it's a bit weird when people telling me, "Oh, you're quite quiet." But once again, I can't control editing on the show. So where it looks like I'm a quiet, kind of quite reserved guy, ask anyone in the castmates, I was always talking. But yeah, back to the point I was saying is like, then I'm now starting to kind of judge myself against someone else who has 100,000 followers, or they're doing these adverts or doing stuff like that. So then you start to kind of you start to spiral. If you're not strong enough, you could start to spiral and think to myself, oh, well, why have I not got that opportunity? Or do people like me? Or why do they like that person more? So it can be hard, and then you have to kind of have a strong circle around you, a core kind of group, whether that be your family, whether that be your friends, people that you can actually talk to. Because one thing that I've realized kind of growing up is that as a man, especially, like, I can't speak for anyone else, right? Obviously I could have empathy for what people go through, but for me, for myself, as a man, I'm supposed to be strong. I'm supposed to be the protector. I'm supposed to be the breadwinner. I'm supposed to be, the strong one, the one that kind of holds everything together. And sometimes you can't. Sometimes you have that weakness in you where you just want to break down. You might want to feel within yourself. You might want to cry. You might want to be upset. You might want to be frustrated. And that's normal. Like that's a normal reaction. You're a normal human being. But at the same time, once again, that generalization is that we should be like, nah, nothing phases me. So it's been a kind of hard to kind of put those feelings not aside, but also kind of regulate those feelings to make sure that I understand where I'm at. I understand what opportunities I've been given. And I also understand that nothing was guaranteed for me anyway. But at the same time, I've always had this in my life where I want others to do well. There's so many people who do not. I just want to repeat that. There's so many people who do not want you to do well. But at the same time, I'm someone who I want people to win. Don't get me wrong, I want to win, but I want people to win. Like watching the final, I desperately wanted Jake and Leanne to win. Don't get me wrong, if Alexander or anyone else won, I would have been happy because like that's the way my heart is. But obviously, being closer to those two individuals, I wanted those two to win, regardless of the fact that I was not in the final. So that's just the way I am. But yeah, as a man, you're supposed to be strong. As a man, if you show weakness, you're a waste man, you're a weak man, you're this and no, 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 no. Let's just forget that narrative. If you need to cry as a man, you need to cry as a man. If you are, and I'd say showing signs of weakness is not, but you don't always have to win an argument, or you don't have to. There's so much different kind of, I would say examples that I could kind of bring to light in terms of what a man is supposed to do, and you're less of a man of this. But no, but these are all things that kind of add up and kind of go into this bubble and then kind of affect your mental health. So that has been a big kind of eye opener in terms of coming off this show. And now I can walk down the street and somebody knows me. And it's like before I was just in a circle where you might be known because you know that person, or that person knows this person, or because you work here or whatever. But to kind of be on a national show and somebody knows you because you was in a death match, it's crazy. It's crazy. And like I said, the anticipation that people have to meet you, and then you don't want to let people down because I might be in a bad mood and someone wants to meet me and someone wants to take a selfie, and like I would never want to kind of be rude to someone. So you just always have to be on. So that once again, it's another trigger that is affecting your I say mental health. It is affecting your mental health because you're now having to always be on. So it's just so many different kind of facets to it which can actually affect you. And we've just got it written down here. It's okay to talk. Like it's okay to talk. And whether that be sometimes you might find solemn talking to somebody that you don't know. Like I've done it once. I've spoken to a counselor. I went to one time I was going through, and once again, I can stop. There's stuff that I will go through later on down the line in terms of in my life, because I'm in this space now and I ain't leaving. Yeah, but this is my show. No one could tell me to wrap it up. Whether that be one person listen to or 100 people listen to it, I talk when I want to talk, right? But there's things that have happened in my life where I've actually had to go and speak to somebody, and I felt at the time I felt like it was I felt I was being weak speaking to somebody and letting them know how I feel and that I'm upset. But at the same time, I, I, I letting that go felt good to me at the time. And don't get me wrong, I only did a couple of sessions, but it felt good to me to kind of release some of that pause, but to kind of get it off my chest and make sure that, you know, I'm not just letting it bubble up, letting it fester. And sometimes it might only be one person. It doesn't mean that it opens up the floodgates and you start telling everyone. It might be just that one person that you feel at the time this was the right time for me to tell somebody. But then that can make you feel better because then you've offloaded it. So just it's always good to talk. So don't feel like you cannot do that at all, because there will be critics in this world. But at the same time, you have to ignore them. And I know it's easier said than done. It's so much easier said than done. But at the same time, my biggest critic is myself. Yeah. Then it will trickle down to my wife. Then it'll trickle down to my kids. Then it'll trickle down to my, my immediate family, so my mum and all that kind of stuff. Right. Because if I let them down and if they criticize me, then that's going to mean a lot. So why do we concern ourselves with criticism from people who, no disrespect to anybody out there who's going to listen to this and think, oh, what? But from you, what does that mean? Because you don't like the way my hat is, or you don't like the way my hair is, or you think that I should stay in my job, or you think I shouldn't do my own podcast, or who do I think I am because of this? Or I've heard it all. I've heard it all and I've seen it all. Like even now, sometimes I can see the envy in people's eyes when I talk to them or when they wave at me. And I'm a good judge of character. I might not show on the show because I'm getting things wrong left, right, and center, right? But I'm a good judge. And also I can see when people do not like me. When I say do not like me, they might like me, but they're envious of the opportunities that's been given to me. That's a you problem. It's not a me problem. Yeah. I put myself out there and I got on the show. But you know what I've still done? I've still got up and I've gone to work and I've grafted my ass off to make sure that I can put food on the table and the mortgage is paid. But you want to look at me funny because I've got to go to a premiere or something, or because Claudia could direct message me some love hearts. That's a you problem. And if you want, and I say this as well, this is what sorry, sometimes I do this, I just digress. When I used to work at Game years ago, right? Just a normal sales assistant, working hard, doing the job of everyone because that's what I do. I don't like to settle in the job that I do. I like to learn about other jobs, so I could just I always look at it, think to myself, the harder I work, the quicker the day goes, right? So what's the point of just doing my job? I want to learn your job so I can do your job when you can't do it, or I can help you out, blah blah blah. But the manager at the time was getting all the games, he's getting the consoles, he's getting the games, he's getting the season passes, he's getting the content, he's getting all the gifts. And I thought to myself, I want that. I didn't just sit back and moan and thinking, I'm doing all this work, this hard work, and he's getting everything. I just thought, I want that. So how am I going to get that? I'm going to get that by becoming the manager. Do you see what I mean? Fast forward, I become the manager, I get all the stuff. So when I say to, even with my staff now, if you want the perks of being the boss, controlling the rotor, etc., doing whatever, then you become the boss, right? That's up to you. You can't blame me. That's your drive. Everyone has a drive what they want to do. So when you really want to deep that and think about that, you control that. And listen, everything's possible. There might be steps in the way that you have to get past or get to, but everything's possible if you really want it, right? So critics wise, ignore them, bun them, yeah, because they will always have something to say. Always have something to say. And I've realized in this short space of time that I come off the show that people pretend like they want you to win. They don't want you to win. But not only that, there's some people who will want to jump on your bandwagon when you are up there. When you are up there, they'll be like, oh yeah, like my best mate. Whatever, man. Was the last time you messaged me and said hello? So whatever, in it, like, so I just take everything with a pinch of salt. I've got the people that I need to have, and And don't get me wrong, I can be friends with everyone. Friends with everyone. Yeah. But not everyone can be in the circle. Like in Meet the Fockers. The circle of trust. Not everyone can be in there, man. So if you want to get in there, you have to do some work to get in there. You can't just jump in there. So nah. Nah, 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 nah. Nah, 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 nah. So anyway, this is just a quick one. There's gonna be a more kind of structured kind of scenario in terms of how this is going to go, because there is lots of things that I want to do. There's lots of things that I want to kind of get off my chest. There's different content that so my son Dylan, obviously I've got two sons, Jade and Dylan. Dylan's got, oh sorry, pardon me. Obviously Dylan, obviously having his autism is something that he's always wanted to do. So he's wanted to kind of sit with me, just chat to you guys and just kind of, put out his stories in terms of how he feels and how he copes with autism, and if that could then make somebody else comfortable to kind of maybe share their story or confident in terms of something they want to do in their life, then that would be amazing too. That's something that I've always kind of wanted to kind of showcase and put out there, and that's sometimes but I say sometimes, go on the show, it's like I'm coming off it, I'm like, what was I put here for? Now, growing up, people have always said that, oh, there's something about you. And, you just say whatever, innit? Like, I've always known that I, I, I've been put on here for more than being the top salesman, because I am a top salesman, by the way, and a good leader. And some people might, like, I lead by example anyway, but I listen, I sell stuff. I can sell, right? That's another story for another day. But just in terms of what next, like I said, I'm just going to clean this up. So this is going to be much cleaner. Obviously, I'm getting the studio ready, which should look really good, to be fair. And like I said, there'll be guests along the way. So some of my traitors friends will come on. I've spoken to a few other people, which will be interesting in terms of kind of getting on and having a chat. And if I'm totally honest, I just want this to be as real as possible. So it's not just all about a celebrity outlook or a public figure outlook. And first and foremost, when I say that, I don't even put myself as a public figure. So let's just get that straight, right? But I'm talking about in terms of, I don't want you guys or myself to only hear the opinion of someone who's because they got a blue tick or whatever. No, listen, you'll be hearing from my neighbor. You'll be hearing from Bob down the road. Do you know what I mean? I want you to hear real life stories and opinions and thoughts, and we'll be kind of tackling current affairs, or even if it's just as stupid as, what is your favorite bloody dish? Do you see what I mean? Like, and the debates on that, because I know there was a debate the other day about the 100 gorillas. I mean, 100 members of gorillas, which first and foremost, the gorilla is wiping out 100 man straight, and I'm not a part of that anyway. So I will support you. Look, like, I support Man United from the sidelines and watch you lot get murked. Yeah, because gorillas hands down wins that. So that's what I mean in terms of just certain things. So, but yeah, I'm going to be just trying to kind of get some more stuff out there. Now, all I know is grafting. All I know is work. So I will work my ass off every single day at work. But at the same time, I'm going to make sure I do some more of this because I like doing this. And I say this again, say it again, I'll say it again. If you don't like it, it's fine. If you don't like it, it's fine. But you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. Yeah. So, yes, anyone who has listened, thank you for listening. And yeah, it's just, like I said, this is just episode 1. And we're done. Well, we're not done until I press the button, but here we go.